It is time to go beyond alpha, beyond limitless experience, beyond consciousness to the one, the supreme consciousness. Welcome to the channel. My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy. I'm a flow state consultant, a coach, a specialist, a counselor, a positive psychologist. I have a lot of labels that I go by, but those don't really mean anything because I am a soul just like you. The flow in me sees the flow in you, so flow mistake, and let us begin today. We're talking about how alpha is multidimensional. Now, what do I mean by this? A lot of, the red pill guys or people who are watching this will go, what do you mean by that? What are you talking about, alphas? Well, alpha is the Greek alphabet with the word alphabet, alpha, beta, right? So alphabet is the number one, alpha. Alpha is the beginning and the end is the omega. Right? So the beginning and the end, the saint and the sinner, the two dualities. Right? And Christ said, I am the Alpha and I am the Omega. I am the tallest and I am the lowest. That the sinner is the saint. Okay? The lowest is the highest. The highest becomes the lowest. And you can weave in between those two poles, those two understandings. Okay? Those two universes, you can weave in between them. Because I understand that I'm living like a fish, unaware that I am in water. And what is the water, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, what is the water? The water is the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm that you are perceiving. That is that water. And you are a fish living out of water. You are a worm who perceives that there is something like light, but you don't have the understanding or the perception, right? The senses to receive that understanding. And so that is why we need faith. To make the invisible visible, we need something. We need something to believe in. And whatever you believe in, that becomes your GPS, your guidance system, your good orderly direction, or GOD. Understand that if you're feeling really skewed and confused about these ideas, what? Alpha, beta, okay. Are we looking in terms of the animals? Because the animal kingdom will give us a different relationship with alpha, beta in terms of the tribes and the animals and so forth. But then you also have, in terms of the workplace, are we talking alpha in terms of a relationship? Okay, one person is the leader, one person is the follower. Where are we placing this word alpha? And it's context dependent, right? That's what I gotta remind some of you guys, is that it's context dependent. Okay, it's multi-dimensional. So I would say that alpha is a combination of mental, physical, emotional, energetic, spiritual. It's a thing. It's become a concept now. And the issue is, over time, culture kind of creates these buzzwords, right? Like self-care, self-love. Hey, we still use those terms to try to explain it to people what those things are. But they also become these trendy, fancy buzzwords. Just trendy buzzwords that if you say them enough times, people will think you're cool enough and accept you. It's like in the spiritual community, if someone pulls out the word quantum, right? It becomes like, whoa, man. Okay? He's bringing science to the shit. I knew the shit was real, right? Or whatever. The thing becomes, what are you alpha in relation to what? What is the guy code? Okay? It's this invisible set of written rules. Is it bros before, I saw this funny thing the other day. Is it bros before hoes? Or is it hoes before bros? Or is it a homie ho stasis? We have these unwritten rules, right? And Robert Glover, I think he calls them covert contracts. This is what nice guys will do, right? So a nice guy thinks just by buying gifts for this girl that she's gonna spontaneously want to sleep with me. It's like, I press this button and then this comes out as an output. Right? That is a covert contract with you actually saying anything or setting some actual contract with her, saying that, hey, what's going on between us, or having a conversation and a connection to build something with that person. You're going, maybe I'm gonna just be nice to her. Maybe I'm just be polite, get her some roses, buy her a house, buy her a car. You know what? Maybe you're still seeking something, right? What are you seeking? Okay? You're still seeking that approval in that other person. And you can have your own beliefs around this, right? Someone could even come beta, okay, in the comments. It don't make no difference. To me, it's like sigma, beta, alpha, theta, gamma, lambda, sigma, gamma, phi, you know, that's for frats, okay? Are we really classifying people into these subgenres and groups like there's some kind of a mathematical equation or algorithm? No, but that's what these companies want to do. They want to use these polarizing terms and different things to try to make you feel bigger or smaller or more than or less than, or but you as a man, authentic to your truth, you know, true to yourself, true to trust in the universe and in God and in your craft and what you're building, right? Your work and your passion and your love for life, your zest for experience. Why are you not focusing on that instead? Why are you so focused on she's a 9? She's a 9 out of 10. Okay, she might be. Okay, she's gorgeous according to, let's say, beauty standards. Okay, but what more does she bring to the table? That's what I'm interested in. Okay, beauty is common. It's everywhere. I mean, you go to some of these countries, right? I travel a bit. Beauty is common. Okay? So there's something else energetic that you bring to the table. You get that? And it's not being the person's mommy or daddy. Don't get into that thing, okay? It's not doing that. That is not a healthy dynamic in a relationship, purely. You can look through that frame sometimes. That might help you gain an understanding. So alpha mentally is like the psychological dominance, okay? Alpha maybe emotionally might be a learning of how to regulate one's emotions, not to appear more stoic, but to live by stoic principles, so you embody that quality of like, I'm unfazable, I'm unbreakable. You cannot hurt me, you cannot break me, you cannot stop me, right? That's such a powerful thing to have as a person. You guys get that? That mental toughness in this world that will be harsh to you and crush you down. As you hold on to your own values, your own truth, your own conviction, your own character, to be civil, man, but also remain a savage at the same time. You are the only tamer of the self. If somebody else is taming you, if the environment is taming you, if some other, you know, glitch in this matrix is trying to tame you, you are not going to allow that. If you're letting some other person's distorted thinking sway you in that particular direction, you'll get consumed by that thought form. You'll get consumed by their projections of what those emotions mean. So you might just be like this. Now she sees that micro expression from her own past experiences, bad experiences with men. She sees this, and she gets like, you know, overreactive all of a sudden, based on this random pattern that probably was an unconscious, you know, just a micro expression that doesn't really mean anything. It's just kind of a, you know? But to her, it's like a sign of disrespect. And how dare you? How could you? Okay? I would never, okay? Now what, is that person really a sane person, or are they being triggered and coming from trauma? And actually, that person actually needs a hug more than ever, right? That person probably needs a, hey, I'm not here to fight with you, okay? We're on the same team. What's going on here? Now, one thing is to try to prove if you are alpha. You're probably not alpha, because look at all the alphas out there. You know, I got this from one of my mentors back in the day, and it really helped me to simplify things. So I'm going to give this to the men out there right now. The simplest way I can describe this is like Jordan Belfort's straight line system. Okay? Point A to point B, boom. Let's say you want to take out a lighter. You don't fumble with the lighter looking for it, and which pocket is it in? Okay, sweating, like, you know, having a twitch in your eye, and like kind of, you know, trying to circumnavigate everything. Bro, what? Just spark that lighter. Point A to point B, the direct, most straightforward path is the alpha. Why? Because it is straight. It is number one, right? Number one is straight. Okay? It's first a claiming of the straightness, the little ding, right? And then you go, vroom. It's a straight line. And even if you check the I Ching, Chinese teachings, the masculine energy is depicted through a straight line. It remains unbroken, man. So it is that eternal Shiva consciousness, that state, the space holder, right? And a lot of people in the spiritual community, they misconstrue that holding space is just to be this passive man who's just listening all the time to the woman and not really expressing myself, but I'm just gonna remain in my masculine silence and and I agree with you. David Deida is a badass writer, and that book clarifies a lot of things. But when I see David Deida, I also see a very confused type of man as well. Like, he's got the polarity ideas down, right, to a science. But I just don't see that high thumos energy. You know, do you see any of these spiritual leaders with that energy, right? That high thumos. I mean, Chityananda, that guy, you know, has somewhat of that kind of breaking rapport, you know, type of essence that I kind of like, because it kind of shocks people awake, right? They're going, it's like a Heyoka energy, right? It's like a, what? What did he just say? Did he just say that and that in the same sentence? Did it? Whoa, you can't say that. Oh, wait, but now he's making up for it. But now he's, man, I don't know how to explain it, but you guys need to watch Papaji, okay? Papaji, okay? I've been watching some of his videos, and the way that he handles the different people who ask him questions. They just started, like, watch the one where he, like, just makes this woman laugh for like a straight minute, right? But just going through just a satoric question, right? A basic question of like going inwards. Got this woman to go, oh my God, it's so simple. Like it's just under my nose. Like I just get this, right? So a lot of these spiritual teachers, yes, I respect their teachings. Eckhart Tolle, Michael Singer, okay, Thich Nhat Hanh, okay, the Buddhist teachings. I love all of these. In fact, I actually really value that kind of thinking. But would you say that those men are alpha? Maybe in their field they are, right? Maybe there's an alpha in the spiritual community, okay? But in the spiritual realm, I think a true alpha is just you in connection to the one, the truth, your heavenly Father, right? That is the most alpha that you can be. Now, whatever religion or choice you follow, right? That's a different experience. Like, I've been researching a little bit into the Rose Cross and the Rosicrucianism. I don't know if you guys have heard of this thing. It's fascinating stuff, right? If you really look into it. We are born into this black cross, which is like our physical body. Now, I know we're taught to think this is all bondage in a cage. The Vedas talk about how, you know, this thing is free, okay? Someone was asking me a question, I think, Ed, you were asking me how to work with the lightning beings, right? To have more agility and so forth. What I would say to you, man, is just start to understand that there's so many ways you can go with this, okay? You could find a deity like Zeus or Indra or, you know, the Heyoka thunder gods or, you know, any of these path workings, but start to understand there's something called virya, right? Right above the solar plexus, there's a point of that inner flame that you have. It's called your virya, okay? Now your virya in Hinduism, what you say is like that life force energy, that high thumos, you know, that masculine edge, that kind of fuel that pulls you towards something. It's kind of a psychic GPS. It's like a magnetism that resides slightly above your heart space, right? Here, you know what I mean? It's like the seat of your identity. Like, I am here. In the Rose Cross, they have a rose right here, okay? And the arms and legs, well, we're born into this darkness, basically. Born into a world of sin, right? And the Rose Cross, these blooming, illuminated centers of energy similar to the chakra system. So I really like the fact that they're using this. Now, of course, the Gnostic tradition, they speak about, you know, the demiurge. Now, some people think the demiurge is like this materialist thing that's going to ruin culture. Now, there are other Gnostics that believe that the demiurge is necessary because it's the last point of spiritual crystallization into the physical form. So it's like, you know, all of these theories and these ideas, I think they're very fascinating. But one thing I want to end on is comparing this idea of Rosicrucianism with what they say humans are actually spirits of love and freedom. The love is the feminine unity consciousness, and the masculine consciousness is that freedom. And hey, if you read The Way of the Superior Man, you know that concept is real. Okay? Maybe this guy was a Rosicrucian, who knows? I don't know. Basically, think about that, right? The one became the two. The one unity was already full, perfect, pure, but then it split, it fragmented, it separated into a two. And now we need this Shiva Shakti dance to reunify back into God. That's why sex feels so good, right? That's why doing certain things that illuminate these energy centers, whatever it is you're doing, chanting, dancing, you know, doing anything to tap into the flow, you're going to open these energy systems, right? And these energy systems, they exist, man. They're not just these made up things, okay? They actually, you can feel it. You can actually sense them at a certain point, okay? Someone was talking to me about pranic healing the other day. I agree, like there's something there that we need to cleanse ourselves, because if we're adding positive emotion on top of all of this gunk, the positive emotion is going to stick to the negative storylines, and it's going to be this confusing mess. So the first thing you need to do is cleanse, heal all the gunk that's standing in your way. So you are just this pure vessel. That's how you become a channel, by the way. That's how you do what I do. You got to first remove all the story and the gunk that's trapped in your physical body and your etheric body. So having said that, join the Primal Sutra Path Working. We have the Primal Sutra retreat coming up in Costa Rica in August, okay? And I'm going to keep talking about this, man, because this is a powerful event. 3 days where you get to spend with me live, immersive in Costa Rica. It's like a boot camp, a spiritual boot camp for 3 days. You get that, bro? That's badass. Okay, so if you're interested in that, shoot me a message. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang, may we never be the same again. Speak soon.